All right, so today I'm going to play a clip from Pearl, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on it. Now, she's a little bit, I don't want to use the word extreme, but she's definitely towards that end of the red pill spectrum. At least that's my opinion. She says something in a recent video. I don't really watch a lot of her stuff, but this video came up. I watched it, and when I saw what she said, I said, "Oh, I'm not so sure that's how I would phrase things." But then I also have an opinion on the clip that might, I don't know if I would say ruffle some feathers, but you guys might not 100% be in agreement with me. Roll the clip.
But hey, it takes a whore to know a whore. Okay, we're all whores. Allie's a whore. Don't let her tell you otherwise. I'm a 304. We're all hoes. Okay. If you didn't wait till marriage and get married at a young age, all the women that get married at an older age, they just gluck 9,000. Don't let them fool you. All of us. Takes one to know one.
All right, so you heard that. Now, that's a bit of a hyperbolic take, right? And in context of the video, she was speaking from somewhat of a biblical perspective in terms of if you follow the Bible strictly, that we've all fallen short. Now, the point that she makes is a point that I've long made to myself, honestly, and that is we've all done things. And what it led me to, and this is the part where some of you may or may not agree, but give me the couple of minutes to explain what I mean. To me, trust is a choice. And here's what I mean by that. Depending on what age you are, whether you're my age and you've been around the block several times, or you're younger and you've had one or two relationships, but you've seen online, you've seen your other friends and family members go through trials and tribulations and relationships. For whatever stage you're in, we've all seen enough, been part of enough, had things done to us. We have all seen enough for the most part to feel that we are justified in having the opinion that you cannot trust member of the opposite sex. I won't even say women because for women, I'm sure you could probably say I don't trust men. So for purposes of this video, we've all been through enough, seen enough, or, if we've made mistakes, we've all done enough things in our past where we kind of feel like there's nobody I can trust. There's nobody to trust. And so when I say trust is a choice, here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you just blindly accept anybody's excuse or just accept suspicious behavior or pretend that you don't see things. And I'm not saying that you just blindly let somebody else run the relationship, whether it be you meet a woman and she wants to take vacations on her own or girls' nights out and male friends and all that. You don't have to sacrifice your boundaries. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that for the overwhelming majority of us, the things that we've seen, the things that we've been through, nobody new, generally speaking, is going to be able to come along and make up for those things. If you enter a relationship or a situation, if you enter with the idea that this new person has to prove to me that these other things won't happen, generally speaking, that's going to fail because inevitably, especially the more relationships you've had, more situations you've seen, inevitably similar behavior repeats itself, right? So somebody may have done you wrong in the past, and now your new relationship, they're kind of doing a couple of things that seem similar, but when you realistically look at the context, it's kind of innocent. They're really not doing anything, and they're not doing anything. Or the flip side could be that they are. But when I say trust is a choice, what I mean is if you enter a relationship, you meet somebody new, and you're like, hey, look, I've been cheated on. I've seen my friends get cheated on. I've been part of some things. You're going to have to show me. You're going to have to prove to me that you can be trusted. It's really not going to work. What I recommend, and to say recommend, what I'll say is that only do this if you really understand what I'm saying. And as an aside, if any of you disagree with what I'm fixing to say, I agree with your disagreement. Okay? This is something that's a very personal decision to kind of decide how you want to move forward in context of relationship. This is not for everybody, but I would suggest if you're having trouble finding somebody to trust, or if trust issues are ruining what could possibly be good relationships, before you enter into any relationship, just sit with yourself and say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a decision that the next person that I decide to engage in a relationship with, I'm going to decide to trust them up front, and then leave it in the back of your head, leave the possibility open that maybe your trust will be misplaced. Now, I know how that, I'm not unaware of how that sounds, so hear me out. What happens to most of us if we are cheated on, if something goes wrong, what's the bigger what's the biggest part of the pain, especially for us guys? A lot of it, sometimes it has to do with the feeling that something's been going on behind our back, right? That somebody's been doing something wrong to us and hiding it from us. And it doesn't always have to be, physical sexual cheating. It can be, I've been talking to my ex-boyfriend on the phone, or I've been meeting an ex-person for lunch. It doesn't always have to be physical cheating, although some people would consider that physical cheating. The point is that when you get into these types of situations, if you have chosen to trust somebody from the very beginning and then something goes wrong, you've left open the possibility in the back of your mind is like, I'm going to trust this person. I'm going to monitor my trust issues. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm thinking and how I'm viewing things as they're happening. And I am going to act as if I trust them. I am going to react as if I trust them, while at the same time leaving the possibility open in the back of your mind that I could be wrong here. I could be misplacing my trust. Now, what's going to happen is one of two things. Eventually, under those circumstances, they will earn your trust enough times over and over and over again of you defeating, for lack of a better phrase, your own demons. They will earn your trust because at some point you're going to realize, okay, this is not what's happened to me in the past. This person is trustworthy. If you trust them under these circumstances that I've laid out, and then something happens and you find out they were untrustworthy, at least for yourself, you could be like, well, I left open the possibility that could happen. I'm not shocked. My world isn't crumbling around me. I'm not breaking down because this happened to me, because I would have never expected it. I never saw it coming. You can act in such a manner as to allow them to just treat you naturally the way they would, and then let the chips fall where they may. So if you're a naturally untrusting person and you know that, right? And you know that sometimes your mind wanders and goes off on tangents that really aren't really what's going on. If you treat that person with the impression that, if you give them the impression that you trust them, and no matter what they do, until proven otherwise, you say, it's okay, I trust you, it's fine, as long as the behavior is within your boundaries. And that's one thing I want to reiterate here. I'm not talking about meeting somebody that's making you break your boundaries to prove your trust. I'm saying giving somebody the opportunity to take the boundaries that you lay out at the beginning of a relationship, and then give them the opportunity to, for lack of a better word, behave within that set of boundaries. I'm not talking about allowing somebody to talk you out of your boundaries under the guise of, well, you should trust me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying give them the benefit of the doubt while also leaving the possibility open in your own mind that, okay, I've entered a relationship. We're building trust, but you don't want to behave in a mistrusting manner while you're building that trust, because it won't work. And inevitably, you're going to ruin any possibility of any good relationship. Because while for the most of us, we would probably say that, quote, most people can't be trusted. That doesn't mean 100%. It doesn't even mean 90%. It could be 60, 70% of people that really might not be trusted with being faithful in a relationship, but 30 or 40% can. If you approach everybody from the position of, I believe you might cheat on me and you're going to have to prove me wrong. If you approach everybody from that behavior and you behave in a distrusting manner, 100% of the time that relationship is going to end, whether or not that person was going to cheat on you or not. But if you make the choice, and this is why I say trust is a choice. And again, for any of you guys that are shaking your head saying, no, 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 I don't even disagree with you. I understand, believe me, I have seen things, I have been part of things, I've seen it all. Okay. So I completely understand if you've got burnt to the point where you're like, there's just no way. There's just no way. But what I would say is if you feel that way, don't bother trying to enter in a relationship. And that might be the path that you're on. But if you've been burnt and you still would like to try to find a good relationship, don't approach it from a place of mistrust. You'll just ruin it. And inevitably, you're going to find somebody that would be good and would be trustworthy and wouldn't break your boundaries. Eventually, you will find that person. And if you treat them right from the beginning and allow that trust to build, then not only will you build the trust in the relationship, but you'll build your own self-trust with your own emotions, your own feelings. And when things come up that make you feel uncomfortable, you're like, I don't like that, I don't like this, you'll be able to handle it without getting emotional, right? And you'll be able to speak your mind and say, hey, look, I normally don't say anything, right? You know, I trust you, but this specific thing is bothering me. And it gives them an opportunity to say, okay, you're right. You've always shown that you trust me. So I will adjust my behavior in such a manner as to not, get you upset if that person agrees to that, or that's something that you guys can negotiate. So when Pearl said that, it just kind of made me realize that, yeah, we've all been there, right? I don't care if you're 24 or 54 like I am. We've all been there. We've all been through it. We've either had it done to us. We've done it. What are the percentage of people watching this video that's never either cheated or been cheated on? How many people, right? What's the percent? It's low. It's low. So we've all seen enough to be justified in having concerns with trust. All I'm saying is that if you want to be able to build trust in a relationship, you're going to have to just make the choice to roll the dice, leave it open for the possibility so you don't get your life ruined and you get shocked and, oh my God, I can't believe this happened again. But that's the only way the possibility of meeting the right person and keeping the right person is going to remain.